All right, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of the POKEHOUR Podcast. I'm being joined by my good friend Pickle Dill once again. It has been a long time since our last episode. It was, I think, 3 to 4 months ago. But now we're back in the swing of things, and we are here to give our fresh reactions to the Pokemon Presents video, which dropped about 10 minutes or so ago. So, first of all, I would like to say welcome back to the show, my friend. How have you been?
I've been good. Thank you for having me. I'm really glad to be back. How are you going?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, thankfully. Yeah, just a few bumps on the road, but now everything is looking smooth. So I'm back, and yeah, I'm just happy to be back on the scene. Just happy to be putting out content again. So without further ado, first of all, how did you like when they trolled us with the Pokemon Master CX thing in the video?
Ah, it was quite a moment because I love Red and I love the Gen 2 games. And so when we saw Mount Silver and we saw Red, I'm like, oh my God, they're doing Let's Go Marill or Let's Go Togepi. And then, well, we got a Masters thing. I mean, like, Masters is good. I've played a little bit of it, but it's no Gen 2 remake, is it? How about you?
Uh, Yeah, when they were showing that for a moment, I thought that it must be the Gen 2 remix. But then I thought that why would they reveal the Gen 2 remix so early on and save Pokemon Scarlet Violet for last? Because I understand the hype around Pokemon Scarlet Violet. It's a new game, all that stuff. But come on, like Pokemon Gen 2 remix should have been like the end. So I was a bit skeptical about that, but when I saw Red Saboteur, it just hit that okay, I have seen this version of Red before, and this is not definitely not some 3D remake. It is the Master CX version. That's when I realized. And I was just seeing the live chat going absolutely crazy over it. It was awesome.
Yeah, I got pretty badly trolled because I was like, new art style. And then the Masters logo showed up, and I was like, dang, you know, guess it's gonna have to be a while before I can return to Johto on the Switch.
Yeah. And of course there were the Pokemon Go World Championships being announced, like Pokemon Go and Pokemon Unite. If anyone listening to this plays those games, like good for you. Now you have a chance to become like a world champion in those games. But like it was so hilarious seeing when they were playing Pokemon Go, they had their mobiles this way and they were just tapping around furiously, just trying to do something in that video. It was
Yeah,
fucking hilarious. Like what are they doing? Like there is no there is no battle mechanisms, there is no nothing. They just grab their mobile and just tap away furiously at it just to make something happen.
I have no idea, but I know that it was cool when they started bringing the Ultra Beasts. I mean, it's always fun to see them get some
Yeah.
representation. But wow, when they started doing the whole thing into you know, going, okay, now we're bringing Buzzwole into Unite and then Cafe. And I was, watching this direct with a couple of friends and we hit the halfway mark. And like, they haven't touched on Scarlet and Violet yet. Are they just going to cram into the last like 2 minutes and go, oh, yeah, also Scarlet and Violet coming? I was like, come on, come on. And then they did Cafe. I'm like, come on. uh, but they delivered when it came to Scarlet and Violet trailers, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So the on the legendaries, what do you think about the whole bike concept? Like them turning into bikes.
I'm super excited for it. When I first heard it, I was like, that sounds a bit weird, but seeing it in the trailer, particularly the new one, what's the new one called? Maridon? I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, yeah, this looks cool. I'm still not entirely sold on Coridon, but Maridon's, actually having like a big wheel and then growing like wings like a glider. I thought that was very cool.
Hmm.
How about you? What do you think of that and of it being able to drive vertically up a cliff?
I mean, those two are basically the Pokemon, right? Of course, there are partners in the open world game, so I understand why they would give them the boating, the flying, and then the motorcycle concept just to facilitate the exploring part. Because, as they have said, this will be an open world game, right? Where uh, I think you have played Legend Circus, right? Was it like really open world per se, like where you could forge your own path?
Not really. I mean, I actually found Legends Arceus a bit limiting. It's strange because I mean I enjoyed it. I think everyone enjoyed it, but the way it worked was you had these open world areas, but they were very much restricted and you couldn't get to the next one until you filled up a certain amount of the Pokédex. There was a story section, but that, well, you could kind of just deal with that in about half an hour, and then you're going, okay, now I've got to keep catching and catching and catching until the boss says, okay, you have unlocked the new area.
Hmm.
This being truly open, I think, will be exciting in the sense that you can just go anywhere right from the start.
Yeah, and they also have this like Pokemon school thing, so that was giving me some like Harry Potter Hogwarts vibes. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
And um, like coming back to the legendaries, I'm like not sure how this works because most of the time when you think of legendaries, except for Gencent, like most of the legendaries are like ancient type related, right? Like they are the old ones, except
yeah,
for Gencent and Mewtwo, of course. But these represent some aspects of the modern era with the bikes and transforming into machines and stuff.
yeah.
So that was something interesting to me. But I don't know what's the origin story of those legendaries, because as far as I'm concerned, like every legendary has its origin. I don't know about Zacian and Zamazenta. Do they have like an origin story also?
They do. This is actually quite an interesting one because we don't know the exact details, but we know that they've been like ancient defenders of Gala. And then
Uh,
one day, when the darkest day arose and a great crisis threatened to destroy Gala, they appeared, they saved the day, and then they went back into hiding until they were needed again.
I
Yeah,
see.
they.
I see.
Yeah, one thing I find quite interesting with these legendaries is that it's a bit of a subversion of the standard trope in the sense that you don't normally see a legendary until generally before the last gym or the league. That's when they start showing up. So it appears that in this case, they're going to be with you from the start, which is pretty cool and pretty different.
I mean, it's not it's not confirmed that these are the only two legendaries. So I guess that this is them just trying something new, that like giving them a legendaries right from the start, just to like like I said, I think the because it's open world, that's why they're giving legendaries sort of as a vehicle or of some sort. I don't know what they will do to the hidden machines, because it seems like they can fly, they can like basically turn into a bike, a boat. So
Yeah.
uh, I don't see the need of the hidden machines like surf or fly per se.
Yeah, maybe they'll be gone. Who knows?
Yeah, or maybe the player will have to win some badges for the feature to unlock or something.
Yeah, that would
I
make
don't know.
sense. I
Yeah,
just had an interesting thought just based on something you said. And I'm do you mind if I make a prediction for something that might happen in the plot that could be quite interesting with
sure,
the
go on,
legendary?
go on.
So what if Coridon and Maridon are the same entity, and it's just depending on the events of whether you got Scarlet or Violet, they either got thrown into the ancient past or the far-flung future, and so that's where they became, either all ancienty or all technologically, and that the like third act legendary, if you will, that you meet is them before they get flung into the past or the future. So maybe, like, let's say let's just call it Dawn, right? Because they've got Miraidon and Koraidon. Let's say
Hmm.
that the original thing was just called Dawn. So it's like, what if, you know, in the beginning you get Miraidon or Koraidon and they're your buddy, and it's like, I wonder why Miraidon or Koraidon likes you. And then you go through, and then in the climax of Act 3, you meet Dawn and you help, try and fight the evil team alongside it. And, you don't succeed, they get flung into the past or the future. And so then that's why, like, Miraidon or Koraidon remembers you from its past, which is your future. Does that make sense? And so when it comes back to its native time, it comes back a little earlier than it was sent back. And it's like, oh, I know you. You're the friend who tried to defend me. And so it's kind of like a cyclical time loop.
Yeah, yeah, that's really interesting, and that does make some amount of sense. Like, what you're saying is that, yeah, I mean, I understand the whole time travel aspect. That makes sense. Uh, because normally legendaries are a bit like of the hostile nature, like they don't like interacting with humans. But that would make sense why you it would choose to be with the player character. Uh, so here's my a little add-on to that. If Dawn, like you said, if Dawn can change according to the circumstances or because of traveling through time, do you think it's some sort of like have you watched like the Spider-Man, the Venom character?
Yeah, I know Venom. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's he's basically like a symbiote, right? And
Yeah.
he changes as per the host or the situation. Like, I'm not saying that it's the exact same thing, but let's just say that the Dawn or whatever the origin was, it has the ability to change itself as per the time it's living in, as per the needs that the trainer has, something
Yeah.
like that. Like, it's some sort of a, I
A
don't know if you
chameleon.
have watched Ben 10.
Yeah, I know
Have
Ben
you watched?
10. Yeah.
Yeah, there was this alien named Upgrade. Do you remember him?
Yeah, I remember Upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah, he could just morph into something and just change it into an. So I'm guessing that as per your theory, uh, the Dawn must be something that could like changeable, something that could change according to its needs.
Yeah,
Does
absolutely.
that make
Like,
sense?
yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And that's where it'll be that, if it gets sent back in time, then obviously it can't use like wheels because there's no roads. So it starts to rely more on its legs. Comparatively, if it gets flung into the future, its natural wheels aren't able to keep up with future tech. So it adapts like those hollow, wheels. So yeah, I think it could be very much like that. And then when it eventually comes back at the start of the game, then it's adapted so well into what it was before that it's become Miraidon or Koraidon. I think that could be really cool if, it's like almost like an asynchronous time. So,
Yeah.
like, the beginning of the story for you is the end of the story for Dawn, and the end of the story for you is the beginning of the story for Dawn.
Yeah.
I think that could be a really interesting sort of story beat.
I've always liked the paradox story where the somehow the past is connected to the future and vice versa. So that would be interesting. So yeah, that will be my prediction. I actually agree with you because I think that the Dawn, Maradon, Coradon, I can't remember the name. I think it is somewhat based on the polygon aspect because I saw one of Birdkeeper's Toby's video. I think it was like he was when he was predicting Legend Circus, he was saying that polygon originally was like a dodo bird which went extinct. So the scientists tried to revive it by artificially creating
Yeah.
polygon, like something of that nature. Like, so it could be that polygon and rotom were made of the same substance that the symbiote that Dawn originally was,
Yeah.
something like that they could like link. Of course that's not going to link because sometimes the simpler option is right in front of the Pokemon company, like saying that Buffalant is an evolution of Tauros, or Alabama, what the name, like the big pink fish
Yeah,
Is
Lola Mola. Yeah, who should have
yeah,
been a
yeah.
love disc evolution.
Yeah, of course, but again, that's like the simple thing, right? They can't do the simple thing, or else the channels which are based upon uh, predicting Pokemon theories or Pokemon secret bases or something like that, they would go out of business. So of course, they
Yep.
can't outright confirm them. They have to leave us in the suspense and leave us guessing and predicting with theories and stuff. So I think that would be the similar case in this one, because I think at the end of the day, we will not, even when the games come out, we will not find a complete concrete answer on what this legendary Pokemon originally was or is or will be. There will be just some gray area where everyone will make their predictions. That's what
Yeah,
I think.
I think you're absolutely right.
I'm not expecting a concrete answer from them. Like the best they can do is they can explain that, okay, this is the thing, this is how it happened. They will never explain to us why it happened,
Oh no.
and we will be left speculating like always. That's what I think will happen.
Oh yeah, but I mean, what's life without a couple fan theories? If we know everything,
Yeah,
where's the
that's the thing.
interpretation?
That's the only reason that the Game of Thrones franchise is still going, because they're predicting the past.
Yep.
Uh, okay, so that's one thing out of the way. Let's talk about the regional variants. If I'm not mistaken, Wooper is the only regional variant they have revealed so far, right?
Yeah, Whoop is the only one they've shown so far. And according to the leaks, which seem to be accurate, which is really interesting because a couple things in the trailers, I don't know, have you been keeping up with the leaks?
No, like I said, of course, when we discussed about the leaks last time, you said that they were going to turn the grass starter, the weird cat, into some sexy cat lady or something, which absolutely
Yeah,
blew my mind. That was the last time I ever focused on any leaks.
yeah, that
That is,
yeah, it looks like that may well be true because the same
yeah,
leaker who said that, because I know you were very much hoping for a lynx.
yeah.
Yeah, but
RIP to using that starter ever in my life. If they turn it into a cat lady or something, I'm never using that.
uh, anyway, it seems that it's true because the big thing it predicted was that there'd only be two regional variants, Wooper and I believe Tauros was the other predicted one. We haven't seen a Tauros yet, but they pretty much called Wooper exactly, saying it's the regional variant and that it'll evolve into something other than Quagsire, which could be quite interesting. Because that'll be good. Then,
Uh,
yeah, just
I
looking,
think
it's
I think it would be some sort of a Sesame Toad type variant, because I believe in the trailer they said that Wooper. I mean, of course, it's a ground type. I don't think there is any argument there. It
no,
covers itself in mud. So, and they said something related to poisoning or
yeah,
something similar. So
yeah,
a ground poison type maybe. I don't
that
think the typing exists.
yeah, I think that's my guess as well. Ground poison will be its typing, which is cool because, as you said, I'm pretty sure that's not one they've done before. So who knows? Yeah, that could be interesting for both competitive and just going through a playthrough with the new typing.
Oh, Nidoking and Nidoqueen are ground poison type.
Oh
Oh my
God,
god,
of
how can I
course.
forget?
I'm blaming the fact that it's after midnight here. What's your excuse?
I have no idea how could I forget that.
Oh man, I was literally looking at Nidoking this morning for something. Oh, we're gonna get roached in the comments for this, aren't we?
Yeah, let's just hope by the time they slide into the comment section to correct us, they actually hear that we have checked that there are two ground poison types, only two,
Are you sure you want to
nothing
make
else.
that claim of only two?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like ground poison type, there is, yeah, only two.
Okay, I'm gonna trust you on this one because I'm worried we're digging ourselves into another Nidoking, Nidoqueen hole where someone will go, no, there's a third one.
No, there is not a third one.
All right.
Actually, even if they don't make the Wooper evolution like a poison type, they could actually base it off Sesame Toad, because I believe Sesame Toad has poison touch ability, even though it's not a poison type. So that
Oh,
could be. an interesting thing where to go.
That'd be really interesting. I'm just kind of hoping that, whatever the evolution is, it doesn't get Whooper and Quagsire's eyes, because I like Quagsire. It's just there's something in the teeny tiny little beady eyes that always kind of freaked me out as a kid. I don't know what it was, just I'd never seen anything quite like it. So I'm kind of hoping it gets less tiny little eyes this time. That that is all I want out of whatever Whooper's evolution is.
I mean, the tiny eyes look okay on Whooper because its body is also like this small.
Yeah,
But
I
when you
agree.
get Quagsire, it's like a big fat type of like it just looks like a troll for some reason. Like the Quagsire, the Wobbuffet, then you got Ferrothorn. Like all these stalling Pokemon, they just look like trolls to me. Like
Yeah,
whenever I'm playing competitively and they pop up, they're like, okay, here you go. Here is a troll for you. You are not going to knock it out. He's going to drag the battle on and on. You are going to get irritated, and then you're going to rage quit because there is always recovered, water absorbed, and all this stuff. So just hope they make this some sort of an offensive variant, so
I hope
people
so.
could actually have fun for once.
Yep, I
But
mean,
of course, they're not going to. I know that.
yeah, it's probably, if anything, it'll probably be even bulkier, seeing as how it'll have the ground typing, and then poison tends to be something of a stall type. So I think we may have met the ultimate stall Pokemon.
I think that title will always belong to Chansey with an Eviolite. That thing is
Oof.
just bad, like bad. Like you can't the best option is for you to use knockoff, but of course before that you're going to get burned, or the Pokemon knowing knockoff is going to get knocked out itself. Like
Ah,
have you
chance.
are you like familiar with the competitive battling scene?
A little bit. Like I'm not super competitive. I mostly play just in the story mode, and then I'll have a couple of, online rounds with friends, but I've never tried to enter a tournament or anything, or really kept up with the big names. I'm just vaguely familiar in terms of, you know, as much as anyone who considers themselves like a big Pokemon fan probably is, loosely at least.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a good thing because you haven't encountered Chansey with an Eviolite, because that thing will always like stay in the back of my mind whenever I go to play.
So it's like Whitney's Miltank for you, just
Yeah,
trauma.
yeah, yeah, just trauma. Where you're never going to beat it. It's only going to irritate you. It's just a vicious cycle. Like in Naruto, there was the cycle of hatred. Here we have the cycle of stalling,
The cycle of Chansey.
the cycle of Chansey.
So I'm now just imagining, a Chansey with Madara Uchiha's, hair and the Rinnegan. You know, wake
Yeah,
up to reality.
yeah. You thought you were going to knock me out, but I have soft boiled on me. And plus, like, it's like someone like sat down. Anyone familiar with the competitive scene just sat down and thought that okay, let's just give it the natural cure ability, so you can't stall it out by poisoning. Then let's give it an absurd amount of HP, plus make an evolution out of it. So in the future, people can actually give it the Eolite and then just stall even more. Oh my god.
Ah, oh, Chansey. Thank God most of their species heal.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, let's be happy for the ones that work with Nurse Joy. Otherwise, imagine if every Chansey was a hardcore battler.
No one would have won a battle.
That's right. The leagues would be empty. It's like, where, where are all the trainers? Oh, no one got 8 badges because they all hit the Chansey trainer and just could never win.
Yeah. Uh, so I think that is there something else in the trailer that we may have missed? Of course, I
Um,
don't think people want to see us discussing Unite or Go.
no, I don't think so. But there is the new gimmick, the what
Yeah,
is it?
yeah,
Terralize.
yeah.
Terralize. I don't know how to pronounce it. They said it in the trailer, but I can't remember. Terrestrialized?
Terrestrialized.
Terrestrialized.
Terrestrialized. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that thing, the crystal gimmick.
Yeah, the crystal gimmick. Um, okay, I'm not going to say it. It's going to
Yeah,
get us cancelled. Okay.
yeah,
There's the Breaking Bad gimmick.
that's
Have you
right.
seen?
Ah, yes, the Heisenberg blue gimmick.
Yeah, the Heisenberg gimmick.
Yeah, so in the Heisenberg gimmick, I think that that'll be, you know, quite interesting, with the way that it looks like you can change the type on certain Pokemon. That'll be, I wonder, do you think it'll become like an additional type? So if you've got two, you get three types? Or do you think it'll be more like it changes your dominant type to that type?
I think it's basically the hidden power move. You know the hidden power move, like it
Yeah.
varies from Pokemon to Pokemon. Just it's the hidden power move on steroids. That's what I think it is. I think that they're going to change the typing and the typing of the moves to that. Just like a mix bit somewhat of a mix between the Z move, the hidden power, and then the Gigantamax form. I think something like I have so many questions regarding it. Like how long will that terrestrialized form last? Like I said, will it get two or three typings or something? Like I don't know, but I can say like sorry to ruin people's anticipation if you actually liked it, but I'm yet not yet sold on the whole thing because I don't think that it's something like I don't want to say game changing, but something like even interesting. Like for example, going to give you an example. Even though a lot of people hate the Gigantamax thing, it was like the big new thing. Like when people were saying that there is the Gmax form, new moves, etc., etc. But do you remember when the Z moves came out? How
Yeah.
quickly the hype was gone. The hype
Yeah.
was gone quickly. Like there is just one move per battle. I think this is just the same, and they're following this pattern. Like first there was the Mega Evolution, new forms, everything. Then you got the beta version of the Z move, like a very small minor change. Again, you got Gigantamax with new forms and stuff, and now you get the smaller one. So
Well,
that's what I
I'm
think.
as I say, well, I mean, at least we know from the pattern now that we're getting a new transformation gimmick in Gen 10, because it seems that's how they're doing it, Transformation, move.
Yeah. Hope.
Transformation, move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not yet sold on it. Let's see what they can do. I like the animation with the crystals and stuff, but as for it being the selling point of the game, I'm not too sure. That's why I think, like even more so than the crystal, way more than the crystal thing, I think the open world and the legendaries is more of a selling point for this particular.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And if we are to believe the leaks, which I think is more likely, seeing as how there's been, some of it basically confirmed, it looks like there's also going to be past Pokemon and future Pokemon. So, like, for example, I think they've said, oh, I wish I could remember. I think two of the pseudos get like a past and future variant. I wish I could remember. I feel like an idiot that I can't. I won't get up the leaks now because that'd mean digging through it, which wouldn't
Hmm.
make for a very interesting podcast. But, like, for example, uh, I think Gallade is said to get a future version. And so that'll be really interesting seeing what like a future Gallade looks like. And then I think they said Jigglypuff might be getting a past variant. So seeing like an angry cave Jigglypuff, I think that'll be fun. You know?
Yeah, with charcoals and stuff instead of the pen.
Yeah. Imagine just a big bone, like a Cubone bone that is sharpened on one end, or a
Oh
spear.
my god. They'll go to carve people up.
Yeah. Uh, well, on the upside, it'll only make me like Jigglypuff more, and I already like Jigglypuff a lot. So, yeah.
I think the past and future stuff is really interesting. Of course, if we're going to discuss this, we're going to dive down a different hole. Have you ever heard of the term speculative evolution?
No, I don't think I have. What's that?
Yeah, so basically I was for the past few days, of course, like I was not doing any YouTube related stuff, nothing, like nothing really, just sitting around trying to get out whatever. But I came across this interesting theory about what if like the asteroids that hit dinosaurs never happened, right? So
Yeah,
it was basically predicting how would dinosaurs further evolve.
yeah. That could be
uh,
interesting, yeah, in terms of what did it say? What sort of thing did it predict they would have become?
of course the oxygen levels would eventually have to go down, so the sizes of the dinosaurs would become smaller and smaller. Somehow I can't remember the exact scientific details, but somehow frogs became the most dominant species. So now we got different types of frogs, like big frogs, pokemon like frogs, all that stuff. So of course not I don't want to talk around in circles, so I will just get to the point. Like I think that when you said future Gallard, it somehow uh, is related to speculative evolution about how Gallade is going to, like evolve in
Yeah,
the future. Like in the Legends Arceus game, we had how Arcanine was in the past,
yep,
right? And how it eventually shared the rock typing and became the modern day Arcanine. So that's evolution right there.
yeah.
So now they're doing speculative evolution regarding the future, how the future stuff is going to be like. And of course, I think again, Birdkeeper Toby and some other YouTubers have covered this about how the future Pokemon are going to be like. So I think that would be definitely an interesting take. Let's just hope that they do more with it than they did with the Legends Arceus stuff.
He's hoping, and I think you're absolutely right that that's what the future stuff would be, looking at all the speculative evolution and what it could evolve into. Like I've heard a theory. I don't know whether this is a leak or whether this is a theory based on the leak, so take it with a grain of salt. But the theory is that the new speculative evolution of Glade will be a bit more feminine because it'll kind of be when the Gardevoir and Glade species kind of come back together and reconverge into something that is like a psychic warrior rather than branching into one being the brawn, one being the brain. And I think that could be really interesting and really cool. Uh, if that's true, I mean, I'd love it. Like seeing, you know, almost a bit like Hisui and Lilligant, where, it's like, you know, like clearly warrior but also still quite feminine. I think that could be really interesting for a Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Plus, there are male Gardevoirs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
the just because Galliard has to be a male in order, like just because Krylia has to be a male to evolve into a Galliard doesn't mean that the male Krylia can't evolve into Gardevoir.
yeah,
Similar how a female Snorunt can evolve into Frostless or also a female Glalie. So there's
yeah.
of course that area. Like I understand why a male Gardevoir and Galliard, like there could be a combination, a more balanced type of stuff with the bronze and both the bronze and the brains. So understand
I think
the
that could
theory
be,
behind it.
yeah, just
It's
really
actually
interesting.
interesting. Regarding this, related to this, have you seen the fusion between? I think it was fusion between Nido King and Nido Queen.
No, I haven't.
It's not really a fusion. It's basically like combining both their characteristics to make a new Pokemon. I think it was
Oh,
called Nido Knight or something. Knight as in Knight, like
yeah,
King, Queen, and there's Knight. You could just look it up. Uh,
yeah.
I'll look it up as well.
I'll do it up real quick because I'll also get up the questions when we need them.
Oh my god. I just opened up Knight or something.
Oh dear.
Nido King and Nido Queen. I, when I was
Okay.
making the fusion video, then I then I came across this. I can't find it in the search results. I will put the picture up if I actually find it.
Awesome. I've found something which might be it. I'm not sure. I'll send it to you quickly, just because if it's the right one, then you'll have it covered for when you need
Yeah,
it. Okie doke. Yeah, that'll be nice and easy. But yeah, I think that's a really interesting thing. And I think this, future Glade, if it is, as they say, then that would be probably a similar sort of thing where it comes and combines the characteristics of both.
yeah, not this one. It was basically a slim. Have you like a gabite? It was like a gabite. It had like sides around its arm. It was a slim, shorter version of. It looked just like it kind of looks similar to a Nidor, standing upright
Oh
with some
wow.
muscles and stuff. It was pretty cool. I
Yeah,
downloaded an app which enabled us to make card game like custom made Pokemon cards. So that's where I was like making my custom cards and stuff by
that's
downloading images from the Google. It was pretty cool.
yeah,
So
that is
that's when I
cool.
came across it.
Yeah, when you put it up on the screen, then that'll be great because it'll be really fascinating to see.
Yeah, yeah, I will search it up. It must be somewhere.
Yeah, so that'll be good. Yes, I think that there is a lot to look forward to in this game, even if you're not entirely sold on the gimmick.
Mm.
It I think it'll definitely shift things up for competitive. I mean, if you can change your type mid battle, then that'll have some wide ranging impacts. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be hopeful for with this one. How are you
Yeah,
feeling about it?
yeah, I think I'm definitely more excited about this than the Legends Arceus stuff because I was really excited about the Legends Arceus, but in all honesty, even though the game was pretty, I haven't played it, but from what I've heard and the gameplay I've seen, it was pretty good. It introduced some really good concept, but there was like a lot more to be desired. Like it just looked so much of an untapped potential. But in this one, like there is a new region, so there is only so much you can do now that it's Gen 9. Like there are already 8 generations so I know understand it's hard to stay creative, but I think they made most of it with the new legendaries, the new variants, open world gameplay.
Yep.
So kudos to them. I
I'm
think it was solid.
going to say, and also, I don't know whether you saw this in the trailer, but probably one of the things that really excited me was the fact they said there were three stories, and it's like,
Hmm.
how will you tackle them? And I'm so curious to see what that's like. Is it three separate campaigns, or like is it like three concurrent quest lines? So it's like, okay, I'll do my first gym badge, then I'll do the first milestone for story two. Like, are they mutually exclusive? So you have to do three playthroughs? I don't know, but that's got me excited because I'm really curious to see what those other two stories could be.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Let's see how the like I said, I like you said, they may be mutually exclusive. uh I don't know. I think that the concept of a cause and effect relationship, like if you do this, uh, the story will advance this way. I think that's pretty cool. I think we discussed something related to this in the previous podcast where we had Ronin and Ultraman as well. So I
Yeah,
think that's a pretty cool concept. Like when there will be three different stories, I if there are three different stories, I don't think there is a need of a that much need of a post game because the replayability on this game will be insane with
yeah, I think it
three
would be
different stories.
crazy.
So if I'm not mistaken, that's about it from the trailer.
Yeah, but thankfully, we also have questions.
Yeah, for sure. I completely forgot to put questions up on a tab, but like our subscriber bases are basically the same. Like the people who are who are subscribed to me are also subscribed to you.
Yeah,
So
that's all good. I put up that, and I was able to get some questions, which is good because
have you got the questions? Did you put up something on the community? Okay.
yeah, I put
So
something
there
on.
are, I don't think there is any questions on the community tab.
I've gotten one set of questions on the community tab. I've gotten, I think, one question on Twitter, and I've got a couple on my Discord.
Yeah, the one on, I think one question on the Discord had many multiple questions in it.
Yeah, you want I can link you to the because I've saved them all in a Google Doc, so that should make it
I've got the Discord questions right here. I
cool.
can't see the questions on the community, the one question on the community tab you're talking about.
All good. I can copy that in. The one question on the community tab is, what are you hoping to see in Gen 9?
I'm hoping to see, I think they covered pretty much the aspects I was hoping to see. Of course, I wanted Mega Evolution back, but I think that's a wet dream at this point.
Yeah, I
But
think that, yep. I think, Megas were fun, but they've had their time in the sun and now they're gone.
yeah,
I Yep, I think we will see a new transformation gimmick in Gen 10 though, so hey, who knows what that'll be? Maybe there'll be tiny Pokemon this time.
what would they call it? Little Pokemon syndrome or something like that.
Yes.
Uh, there is open world, so that's another thing that I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
So I think they pretty much covered everything that we wanted. We wanted some regional variants, of course. Like if we sat down to discuss it, we would end up wanting regional variants for every Pokemon there is. But they gave us some interesting ones. Finally, Wooper is getting its shine. Much deserved. Tauros, if the leaks are true. So Tauros is another very underutilized Pokemon.
Yep.
So
A no Meowth regional variant this time, which is interesting because we saw a Cantonian Persian in the trailer. So I guess they're breaking tradition and not giving us a regional Meowth this time.
yeah, yeah. Like there is Alolan Meowth, Galarian Meowth, there's Cantonian Meowth.
Yeah,
Like Meowth is on par with Charizard and Pikachu with its evolutions and forms and stuff.
that's true. I mean, it's pretty popular. And do you know what a Pokemon I would love to see get a regional form? This is a bit
Which one?
odd, but Psyduck. I'd love to see Psyduck like get something like, maybe even Water Fire. Well, I'm sorry, Water Fire. Call it Fryduck, and then you can have its evolution be Skolduck. I think that would just I think
Yeah,
that just writes itself. So if someone ever wants to make me a Fryduck and Skolduck fan art, I will very happily display that.
I'm just trying to imagine uh what connection there is to ducks and fires, except for them being cooked, of course.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was just imagining Fryduck being like just like a
So
big
ducks near the volcano. That would make sense, I guess.
That's true. Now I'm just imagining a classic Psyduck with its head on fire, just running around.
I think I think there was an episode where it actually did that. Like it had three little hairs on its head, and of course all three of them caught fire. That was something different.
Oh, Misty's Psyduck. Oh, it's comedy gold. I miss it.
Okay, so do you want to discuss the Twitter question first, and then we
Yeah,
could go to the Discord?
sure. The Twitter question was, why what if content on YouTube? I'll ask that to you first, because I think last time we got this question, I answered it, but I don't think we've asked you why what if content on YouTube?
That's a question for me.
Yep.
Okay, so why there is what if content on YouTube? That's the question.
I think it's why did you choose to do what if
Oh,
content above any other type of content?
because when I was a kid, uh, like when I was growing up, when I was like 8 or 9 years old, I always wanted to be in the cool group. So I would used to make up stories like, hey, you know, this happened. So look at this, I'm interesting. I'm just kidding. Like, of course, like we all want to, like whenever we watch a series or a movie or something like that, of course we have our own version that we would want to happen. Like like who watching Naruto didn't think that what if Jiraiya didn't die, everything would be better? Like who didn't think that?
Absolutely.
So I think even in life, although we definitely shouldn't focus on what if scenarios in life. Let's keep that to fiction. Don't focus on what if scenarios in life. But even sometimes we think that, hey man, what if I had done this? Then I would be here right now. This would be good. This would be bad. So
Yeah.
basically that, and always I'm a fan of stories. So if you've got a good story related to anything, I'm willing to hear it. And what if stories were always fun to me. Like they're like my favorite part of YouTube. So I thought I would give my own contribution to the community. That's all.
And you do a good job of it. I mean, you just
Thank you.
recently released your next part of Lieutenant Surge sponsored Ash, which I really enjoyed that. It had action, it had heart, it was fun. Yeah, I'm so glad that you're getting back into your what ifs.
Yeah. Just stay tuned for the next one. That would be something like I'm basically giving the people what they want. They like you have faced this problem when you gave AJ the Charmander in the uh, red training ash story. My God, like people were
Yes.
raging over it. Like I saw the
Pe-
comments, like, oh my God.
People are still raging. Like in what was it, part five, I think. I
Yeah,
gave
yeah, yeah. I
Ash
saw the
Froakie, and people were still saying, yeah, Froakie's good. But that Charmander, when's he getting that Charmander? And I'm like, dude, I gave you the world's most popular Pokemon. I gave you literally a world of possibilities, and you're still mad about the lizard from 3 parts ago. Oh,
like
gosh.
they got so mad about Ronin giving him what was it, launcher instead of Froakie in the What If Ash was born in Kalo story. And
Yeah.
like I remember suggesting him in Discord, just randomly just suggesting it like, hey, like when he released the first part of the series, I in his Discord server I said, hey Ronin, like everyone knows the story where Ash gets Froakie. How about Cloyd, sir? It's fairly new, it's underutilized. And he agreed to it. Like Ronin, if you're listening to this, I don't know if you agreed to this because of my message, but there's someone in the server actually. First of all, he tagged me in the general chat and say, "So you the motherfucker who asked for this? Why did you ask for this?
Yes.
Why bootleg Krabby and all this stuff?" And then he actually personal messaged me saying that, "Why the fuck did you ask for it?" I'm like, "Oh my god,
Din
definitely have some issues."
Dino, buddy, don't. I was about to say, I don't know whether you know what you've just done by admitting that you're behind this. You're going to get the same level of hate I did about that Charmander.
No, no, no. I'm giving people what they want in the next story. Have you seen the thumbnail of What If Ash and Alan were twins?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I'm giving people exactly what they wanted. You want the same old lizard? Like here you go. I'm just giving you it.
Have two lizards.
Yeah. People are still like when you see the comments in the Dragon Clan story, they're still like, why are you to giving him Charizard? And like, how? Why would you want to see the same thing over and over and over again?
People love that lizard, man. And I mean, I love
Yeah,
Charmander too, but sometimes you just got to do what's best for the story. And sometimes what's best for the story isn't that lizard.
yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Everything, like everyone's dream team has to be, there has to be Charizard, there has to be Sceptile, there has to be a Greninja. Like imagine if Greninja was a dragon.
Oh,
Oh my
dear.
god, everyone would have lost their minds on that. Every what if story, hey, there has to be a Greninja. I think the only thing that's limiting Greninja, uh, Greninja and Charizard are in the same space is because Greninja is not a dragon. If they had given Greninja a dragon and then plus the battle bond and all the story building they did in XY, Greninja would have soared through the roof.
Oh, I mean,
So
and it is technically the most popular Pokemon in the world according to Google.
yeah,
Yeah, but you're right. I
wow,
think if they gave it a dragon typing, there'd be no competition at all.
yeah. People still want a battle bond with Ash and Charizard.
Yeah,
They want to give Charizard even more forms now. Great.
yeah. I don't think that's happening. Just speaking real bluntly.
Never say never. I wouldn't even be surprised if they gave Charizard like a brand new form which was so OP, like the Zacian. And what the hell does the Zacians and Zamazenta's ability are even all about? They come into the battle, even in their normal forms, not in the shield and sword forms. They come into the battle in their normal forms, and their attacks get raised by 1.5, like randomly. Their attacks gets raised by one stage. I'm like, why? What's the logic behind it? So you're basically saying that moves like bulk up or those things don't matter. You just want to make a Pokemon OP, so here you go.
Yeah, I suppose it's a legendary. What are you going to do? But I definitely see your point.
Yeah. Anyways, enough enough ranting. More people are going to get mad. Let's go to the Discord questions, shall we?
Okay, let's go to the Discord questions. You want to bring them
O-
up or shall I?
Okay, I'll bring them up this time.
Okie doke.
So this is from Zane Ear. I think his YouTube name is Zelzi. He has been a long time subscriber of all of our channels.
He's a good
He has,
guy.
yeah, for sure. So there are 5 questions, yet he has posted all of them seem pretty interesting. So the first one is, what's both of your opinions on custom Pokemon forms or forms in What Ifs?
Uh I'm for them. I won't spoil, but I'll just say that you can expect at least one of them from me in the not too distant future, probably more than one. So keep your eyes peeled for those. How about you, Dino? What's your take on them?
I think it's pretty obvious because in the What If Naruto was in Pokemon story, there is everything is about custom forms. Like I have a custom Greninja. Like let it be heard. Go watch the date when Legend Arceus was released and when they introduced the alpha Pokemon concept, and go watch the video where I introduced the alpha Pokemon concept in the Naruto story. I did it first. I did it first. I will stick to it till the day I die. And my concept was way more interesting than theirs because I actually gave the Greninja, Naruto's Greninja, a fighting and water type. Like I said, this is the Alpha Greninja. So I'm definitely all in for custom forms. Plus there is the Tyranitar in the Dragon Clan story, which is part
True.
dragon. Yeah. So I'm okay with the custom forms, but there has to be at least a tiny bit of logic behind it. Like this is a custom form because of this, not just randomly saying that okay, just because I want it to be, so here is a custom form. There
Yeah,
has to be like a little logic behind it.
I agree. And, a narrative purpose rather than
Yeah,
just, oh, yes, main character get bestest form. You know, it gets a Charizard XYZ, which is 3 heads and is all the types and has no weaknesses, and all attacks are triple stab.
yeah.
Yes.
If yeah, I will drop a little Easter egg on uh, where can you potentially expect such a story. It will be a Pokemon channel named Ash123 What Ifs. Ash T23 What Ifs. There you go. Did you pick up that?
I get what you're alluding to. Yes.
What if Ash was born with Ultra Instinct? I think that would be enough.
I think you'll find it is, what if Ash is betrayed? That trend.
What if Ash was betrayed and trapped in the hyperbolic time chamber?
Yeah, I mean, some of those betrayed stories have actually been quite interesting. So no
Yeah, yeah,
disrespect meant to the creators,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
like as a
But
premise, it is pretty out there. So yes, I am
yeah,
expecting soon we'll see what if Ash was betrayed and trapped in a Pokeball, maybe.
I should gain all the typings and all the abilities at the same time.
Yeah. Uh,
Okay. So the next question is a mirror, but for DB what ifs. What is your a mirror, but for DB? What is your opinion on custom forms or characters in Dragon Ball? What is okay? So it's a mirror of the previous
Gus,
questions. What are your opinions on custom forms like Super Saiyan or whatever forms in Dragon Ball? What is?
uh, I think it's very much the same as what we've both said for Pokemon in terms of if it's logical, then I don't have issue with it. I mean, like custom characters, I think because you've got such a wide universe and you only have such a small range, there's nothing wrong with it. And when it comes to things like pairings and kids with different pairings, then it makes sense to have an OC. But
Yeah,
with custom forms, if they'll have to be logical. So if it's like, okay, what if Goku was, I don't know, half Namekian? I don't know, just something off the top of my head, right? It's like, okay, so let's give him a Super Saiyan form with a Namekian twist. That makes sense. But if it's, what if Goku was born half Namekian and his form makes him look like Majin Buu, then I'm like, no, you just want a pink Goku.
yeah. They could have made what if Goku was raised by Android 21 or something. That would be more fitting to a pink Goku.
Yeah,
My opinion is just the same. You can have custom characters, but like there is nothing wrong with custom characters. Like Masako basically created an entire business out of the Ranch character.
you sure did.
Yeah. So and the character Ranch is not just Reddit's and launches name merged. Like she has a personality of her own, which is reflective of both her parents, and
Yeah.
just the character development that he put into her was absolutely amazing.
I
Like
mean,
there are actually he created a mini fandom out of it, so that's something that's surreal. Let's be honest. Like how many times have you seen like people creating a mini fandom around with just one character who doesn't even exist in the original canon?
I don't know, like it's crazy, but I've experienced something kind of similar in the sense that with my What If Goku Was Guardian of Earth series,
Yeah,
this alternate version of Trunks seems to be like the real breakout character and fan favorite. People are like, oh yeah, I love this, Trunks who is Raditz' son. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm glad you like it. I like him too. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I get that's not really an OC in the sense that it's,
yeah,
just a different variant on the same theme. But
yeah,
still, yeah, I mean, I think that they're fine if they're logical.
yeah, for sure. So the third question is, what are your opinions on the legend, Sarkis, Hisuian, and other forms and Mons, and have they changed now that the game has been out for a bit? Okay, so he's basically asking that what our opinion was when Legend Sarkis Pokédex was dropped, and what are our opinions now. So I think that we already answered the question in our first ever podcast. It was basically a reaction to the Legend Sarkis Pokédex where we voted up and down for all the Hisuian variants.
Yeah.
So the basically the question is, do you stick to your opinions now? Do you think that Hussein Samirot is not an absolute embarrassment? Do you think that?
I'm a little more tolerant of Syrian Samurott specifically because, I think it was Plus Ultraman who was telling me that there is actually some logic to its design. I still don't love it. I still think it's pretty weak, but I can at least see that they didn't just go, okay, paint tool
Yeah,
is black now, you know. But still, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, and I still adore Hisuian, Zoro and Zoroark and Hisuian Decidueye as they've stayed as my favorites. Hisuian Braviary, I think I rated that one high, but not top three. I've probably that's probably now in my top three. How about you? I
Mm.
mean, I remember you love Saluna.
I
Uh,
still love Barcelona.
yeah.
I think of I think Sneasler. We both thought that much could be done, but I mean, it's okay. When you really think about it, there is like it's a fitting counterpart to VY.
Yeah.
Of course, the typing still bothers me, but yeah, it's fine. I think we gave it middle, neither up nor down. So it's
Yep.
an up right now.
Yeah. That makes
Samirot is
sense.
still a down though, not that
Yeah.
much down, but it's still down.
Yeah,
If
it is a
anyone is
down.
interested. Okay, so the fourth question is what interests you most about what ifs? Examples either its story, direction, narrative, overlying messages or meanings, action or changes relating to battles that could have been happened, and how people might see certain battles be improved by new factors. Custom stuff, fan forms, techniques, and abilities that create conversation. What excites you most about what ifs?
Okay. Most. Ooh, that's a tricky one because I mean, I think it is a bit of all of them in terms of, I think it's the possibilities is probably what I find so fascinating. Like, you see how if you pull one little thread, so much changes. Like, for example, you know, using like what is probably my most popular series, Red Train Dash, just seeing the fact that, you know, by having a mentor, Ash would be more competent, which means he'd do better in his early gyms, which means he'd get through certain events quicker. I think that's all really interesting. And then as a result of that, that then creates different battles and that then conveys different meanings. So I think it's really all of it, but to condense it down, it is being able to just follow the possibilities through and see all the, sliding door moments, as it were. How about you? What excites you most about what ifs?
It's basically the same, like you said. I couldn't have explained it better. It's basically related to the possibilities, and mainly it's about the possibilities, and everything else is like an add-on, which something that comes with changing some stuff. It's not something that you forced. Like I'll give you a simple example. When I started making the what if Ash was born in the Dragon Clan story, I didn't expect that there would be this variant of Typhlosion or something like
Yeah,
that came according to the story.
yeah, absolutely.
So that's like the custom forms, the battles, all of those are add-ons. The possibility is the main thing. And if like, are you familiar with set theory, Venn diagrams and stuff?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so the custom forms are different battles, different, all those come in the realm of possibility, like the main story.
yeah.
Like all those occur because you change something. So yeah, answer is
100%
basically the same.
yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah. So the final question is, do you ever plan to collab on a video, I guess, outside of this podcast like thing? Uh,
I believe
actually,
so.
yeah, we have a couple of plans. One is, I think, related to Naruto, but there is some research to be done there. And
Yeah,
with the rate that Amagi is pumping out what ifs, I think we have to be a little bit more creative with the Naruto scenario.
probably. I mean, I've been struggling to think of solo Naruto stories that I think will be good on my channel. So yeah, we'll,
Yeah,
but when we put our heads together, there'll be that. And then there's also that big project I've got going on behind the scenes.
yeah,
I've talked to you about, but I haven't publicly announced it. So
yeah.
I'll keep I'll keep that one under my hat for now, but I'll just say that there is definitely a collab for us in the future.
Yeah, I think that if I hadn't taken, like, if I didn't have to take the hiatus by now, I would have hit 1K. There would have definitely been a collab because I, like, you have your own project that you said, and I believe I also said, told you that I have something big in the works. Even thanks to you, I even have a custom character, a Pokemon art related to that. Do you remember sending me Mewtwo related custom art?
Yes, I remember
Yeah,
that.
so that's also something that's definitely on the horizon. Yeah, we'll definitely collab in the future. It's just like the timing didn't quite work out because uh first like you hit 1K, so there was of course the uh and you started making newer stories, so that had you preoccupied, and I was making newer stories at the time, so that had me preoccupied, and then this hiatus stuff happened. So definitely the collab will be in the future. It just got a bit delayed.
Yeah. And I mean,
So
we've got plenty of time. I don't think any of
yeah,
us, like, I don't think either of us have any
are going
plans to
anywhere.
stop. Exactly. We're not going
Yeah,
anywhere. So
yeah,
yes, it'll come.
for sure. So the final question is from Hello MSC. Uh, what kind of things do you expect from Scarlet and Violet? What kind of things do accept what's expect from Scarlet and Violet? Do you think they will be good games and upgrades over Sword and Shield? And what kind of Pokemon do you want to see written in them? I think we basically answered this question.
Okay, but that last bit about what Pokemon to return, that's interesting. If you could have one returning Pokemon in the decks, because we know it's not going to be every Pokemon, I
Yeah.
think sadly those days are gone. If there could be one Pokemon to return for you, what would you want it to be?
Is Unpheasant in the Genet decks?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
If it is, kick it the fuck out and bring back Staraptor, please.
Okay,
I think that's
bring back Staraptor and boot on Pheasant.
yeah, absolutely. Like there is a video of a YouTuber named Lumio's trainer Zach. Have you heard of
Yeah,
him?
yeah, I know Zach.
Yeah, so he was making this video about alternate teams, and in the Unova thing, he was like, okay, so we are getting rid of Shit Knight and we are bringing in Darmatian, and then we are getting rid of Shit Pheasant and we are bringing in Braviary.
Yep,
That was hilarious.
makes sense to me.
Which Pokemon would you like?
Ooh, that is a tricky one. Like, I mean, my first instinct would be to say Togepi, because I think Togepi is probably my favorite Pokemon. But just in terms of one that I think I'd use on my team and I think would be a lot of fun. Ooh, my instinct
Ambipom.
says no, you see, I don't hate myself. I do like Apom though, just not Ambipom.
Oh,
But you know what? I'm gonna say, let's say Electivire, because I have a lot of fondness for the whole Elekid, Electabuzz, Electivire line.
hmm. That was my favorite Pokemon at one time, Electivire.
Oh yeah, it's in my top 10, maybe even top 5. I Electivire is just a great Pokemon in general.
Yeah, especially in playthrough format.
Oh yeah, it's
Uh,
just all around. So yeah, I'll say Electivire with a caveat for I also want a cute Togepi.
yeah, if they're bringing back Togepi, I think they would bring back Togekiss. Togekiss, I think, is in Gen 8, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I'm
It's
pretty sure it's
yeah,
there.
yeah. So if Togekiss is in Gen 8, it's a bit weird why they don't have the pre-evolution, because if normally if they emit a Pokemon from the decks, they emit the evolutionary line with it. Like Infernape is not there, neither is Monferno, neither is Chimchar.
Yeah,
So yeah, if Togepi is not there, I don't think Togepi is there.
who
So if they're
knows?
bringing back Togepi, they would bring back the entire line as well. Another good reason to boot out Unpheasant. Like, while we're at it, let's just boot out Chansey, Blissey, Toxapex for a Ferrothorn.
Do you know what I think would actually be a really good Pokemon just from the visuals of Scarlet and Violet?
But
The Metagross line or
yeah,
the Aggron line, because one thing I really liked in the trailers was how sleek Steelix looked in its, I mean, not Steelix, Scizor looked in its brief appearance. Just the way the steel seemed to shine. I think seeing that on something like, Aggron or, like Metagross would just be incredible.
Yeah. Have you seen the Arbok in the trailer? Like it was in the previous trailer, it had scales and stuff. That
Yeah.
was pretty nice.
Yeah. I think the
Arbok,
texturing
sorry,
is,
is Survivor, Survivor.
yeah. I think the texturing is going to be really nice on this game. And I can't wait to get a close look at all of them when it's finished.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
So I think that's all the questions, and basically discussed everything in that's in the trailer. We'll keep you updated if something else comes up, which I don't think it will for quite a while.
No,
So all we can
based.
do is just speculate and hope that something comes out of it. So I have a few questions for you. Uh, how do you manage between two channels now that you have two channels? How do you manage between those two?
Uh stress and no sleep. That's no, I'm joking. What I try to do is I try to kind of use them as a break from the other, if that makes sense. Like I
Yeah, it
love
makes sense.
Pokemon, and I love Pokemon, but occasionally if I'm hammering out a long script, my brain will just hit a wall where it's like, look, you can't think of any more good ideas. And before, what I'd do is I'd stop, I'd read a book, I'd go to the gym, I'd watch TV. Now I'm like, okay, what if it's that you just can't come up with any more good Pokemon ideas at the moment? Let's see if you can come up with a good Dragon Ball idea. And if I can, then I just keep working on that till I can't think of a good Dragon Ball idea. And then I switch back to Pokemon. Or like when I'm editing a Pokemon video, eventually the grind of that will just kind of wear me down. I'm like, okay, I can't look at, you know, an audio file for another hour. I'm going to swap off and do some writing, or I'm going to swap off and design the thumbnail for this next Guardian Goku video. So, you know, I just try and, use them as breaks from each other, almost like, I think the analogy I first used was it's like in the gym working two different muscle groups.
Yeah,
So, once you've, worked your arms so you can't work them anymore, instead of stopping, why not work your legs for a while? And that'll allow your arms to rest while still making progress on something else.
just asking. Do you ever skip leg day?
All the time.
Yeah.
Thankfully, you've never seen my skinny, terrible legs.
Yeah, I wish I could do that, but I don't because I basically run in the morning, so I don't get the privilege of escaping leg days ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least
Yeah,
you'll be well proportioned with your legs.
yeah, for sure. Running in the morning, running away from problems. Those are the hobbies.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah. So another one of my question was that, I'm looking at the playlist right now. Like there is what if Serena started in Kanto part 5, then what if Johnny's was sitting Galar part 3, what if Retro and Dash part 6, and then what if Ash was Brandonson. So and then of course then we got once again what if Serena started in Kanto, and then what if Johnny's was sitting Galar. So is that like a pattern where you do the Serena story first, then the Galar story, then Red story, something like that?
Now, that was largely coincidence.
Oh,
So,
okay.
kind of the reasoning was that with part 6 of Red, it was a long part, and I knew there was going to be a long part, and I also knew that I had some family stuff that would mean I was going to be away for about a week. So, what I tried to do is I tried to write two stories that would have short parts so that I could kind of batch them out quicker, because I can do like a 20 to 30 minute part in a week. That's a definite. But when it starts to get up to 40 minutes or an hour, that's going to take me 2 weeks because I got to write twice as much, I got to record twice as much, I got to edit twice as much. Just logic. So it takes me twice as long. So I'm like, okay, what I want to do is I want to batch out a couple of shorter parts in advance. So that I think it was the week Journeys in Gala came out, I went away. And so it didn't look like I'd missed anything, if that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, if I tried to do a long part that week, I probably would have struggled and wouldn't have been able to get out on time. And I hate missing my schedule. So that's why I didn't. Kind of the reason it keeps coming back to those stories is that I have a few stories that at this point need to be done in longer parts so that they don't, take 20 parts to finish. Like if I did short red parts now, it'd be part 20 before I finished. And I don't think anyone wants to watch a 20 video playlist when if I keep doing it in, hour long videos, it'll only be a 15 video playlist. It'll take the same amount of time in terms of watch time, but I think people are less likely to get sick of it if it's only part 15.
Can I interrupt?
Sorry, I beg your pardon?
Can I interrupt just for
Yeah,
a second?
sure.
Yeah. So when it comes to Pokemon, what is don't you think that, like you said, like brought up the longer parts, more parts, more number of parts and stuff. So don't you think it's actually pretty easy to organize the Pokemon what ifs, saying that there are 8 gyms, so there you go, 8 parts, 8 gym battles, and then you got like 6 parts or 7 parts just to wrap up the story. Then you got 8 parts for the gym battles, 7 parts for character developments, and between the gym battles, one after the other. So you got 15 parts a solid story. That's what I did in the Dragon Clan story. So even if my logic is, even if the parts are short, look at the number of events that are happening. Like this, my latest video, like the part was like just 15 minutes,
Hmm.
and that's the problem that I have when I write a script and then narrate it, because when I'm straight away narrating it from my mind, I have a lot of interruptions. So I think, but the watch time increases. Plus, and when I'm doing like reading from the script, the watch time decreases, but there are less interruptions. But the number of events that took place in the part is same. There's character development, there is new character introductions, there is a gym battle. So story advances, even though the runtime is not short. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a similar thing. I also think in story beats. Like, for example, to use, let's use Red Trend Dash as an example, because that's one most people probably will have seen. I knew that this world tour was going to have 8 story beats, which were going to be regions, basically. And I'm like, well, I could either try and, do like 2 story beats to a part, and then, since we left at the end of part 4, which would mean the world tour would, the world tour arc would end at part 8, or I could basically do long parts and try and fit 4 story beats in. So then the world tour only takes 2 parts, and by the end of part 7, I'm into the next arc.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why. And there are some stories which have so many story beats that I'm like, well, okay, these need to be long parts moving forward. Otherwise, I'm going to need to take 20, 25 parts, and no one wants that when it's the same number of story beats. Well, comparatively, Serena started in Kanto and Journeys in Gala, they've got comparatively fewer story beats. So it feels okay in a sense to go, okay, we're only hitting 2 story beats in this part.
Yeah. Yeah. The concept of story beats is definitely something that's interesting. Actually, this story bit thing I picked up from Balvapedia, because when I think it was when I was 15 years old, that's when I got back into the Pokemon franchise, and then I used I didn't have any cable connection on my television, so I could watch or slash rewatch Pokemon. So I used to just go to Bulbapedia and look episode by episode, one at a time. And there was like the major events that happened. Ash won a gym battle. Ash captured this Pokemon.
Yeah,
This evolved into this. So that's basically my mindset going into, like, even if the videos are short, I mean, look at the content that you got. Like,
exactly.
I'm not really good at writing. For example, if let's just take your red and Ash story. Like, if they have to travel from one town to another, I struggle to write the part where there is no capturing of a Pokemon, there is no evolution, there is no nothing. Like, just conversation, or just like the journey. I'm sorry if it's difficult to understand. Like, just there is no major event happening and they're just traveling from one city to another. So some what if YouTubers, like, they can actually make that work. They can actually make that part interesting. I cannot make that interesting. Like,
Yeah,
there, so that's why the runtime sometimes feels shortened to me, because I basically skip the parts which don't have any major events happening. I can't make those parts into major events themselves, if
yeah,
that makes sense.
I totally get it. I mean, I tend to do a bit of that, and I sometimes keep them. It's basically I'll often use those non-story beats for character development or for foreshadowing. So, like, I'm trying to think of a good example. I mean, I can
Like,
probably,
when there was in your Red Trend Ash story, there was a part where Ash did something, or he said something which reminded Red of his past with Green, something
yeah,
like that, and he
ex-
got pissed. So
exactly. So, I'll use that and I'll highlight that. And while it's not a story beat per se, it's building up to a future big story beat. So I'm like,
yeah,
okay, but then I'll very quickly jump ahead. So you'll often find that I'll say things like, several days pass, or the next morning our heroes find ourselves at, because I'm like, okay, if it doesn't have a function, I'll cut it because, you know, otherwise it's just filler, and who likes filler? So
exactly.
yeah, so I get what you mean, but yeah, I'll mostly use, yeah, but yeah, as we are saying, story beats are definitely how I think you and I both sort of measure our parts. We go, okay, how many story beats logically fit into, you know, a part, and also how many story beats before the next logical breakpoint. So to use an example, it's a little bit old. Have, have you seen my Brandon series? My What If Ash
Yeah,
Was Brandon's son?
yeah, I've
So
seen up till part 3.
up to part three. I won't use this example then because it's from part five and it's a big spoiler.
Okay. So as far as I can remember, Ash, there was a scene, like, who's the girl with Ash and Barry?
Caitlin.
Yeah, so there was a scene when she was battling, and Ash and Barry actually went to the theater or something. I can't
Yeah, the
vividly
battle
recall. And
hall. Yeah.
yeah, battle hall. Yeah, battle hall. So that was, I I don't think you can, like, classify it as a battle story bit per se, but it was basically characters interacting and just
Yeah.
showing
I
the
mean,
kind of dynamic that they have between them.
also, that's a prime example of building something for a big story beat.
Yeah,
Those who've seen
exactly.
part five will know exactly what story beat I'm referring to, but I'll speak vaguely so that I don't spoil it for you. But essentially, there's a big twist at the end of part five. And so when I set out to write part five, I'm like, okay, you know, this is the logical break point. So this is where the part needs to end. How many story beats are in this? Oh, more than I would fit in a usual part. Okay, so this has got to be a double lengther. And that's how I decided that it would be a long part. Or
Yeah.
comparatively, part 6, I believe, which was the most recent one, if I'm remembering my numbers correctly, was, you know, that also at a logical endpoint. I'm like, okay, but this only has a few story beats that need to be hit, so it can be 20 minutes. So yeah, that is how I sort of decide how long a part's going to be, and through story beats and endpoints.
Yeah, for sure. And that brings me to the last question that I have for this podcast, which is I know you I know you put up a poll regarding in the community tab of the second channel, like what would you want to see next, and 40% or something voted for Naruto, 50% something voted for Dragon Ball. But like, let's be honest, you have to make a Naruto what if at some
Yeah.
point, right?
Oh, I mean, I'm currently thinking that what I'm going to do, because of how close those two are, is I'm probably going to start both a Naruto and a new Dragon Ball story, probably back to back, and alternate between them for a couple of weeks and just see, the sort of interest. That's currently my plan. If I can think of a Naruto one I like, it's like next week I might do Naruto part 1, then I'll do Dragon Ball part 1, then I'll do Naruto part 2 and Dragon Ball part 2, and
Yeah,
so on and so forth.
yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah. So
All
you,
right, guys. So yeah, you're
sorry,
saying something.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut off your actual question. Sorry, I ran ahead there.
Okay. Yeah, no, like this was my last question. So we have reacted to the trailers. We have answered your questions. I answered some. I asked some of my own questions to Dil regarding the future of his channel. So we have basically covered up the topics that we intended for this particular episode of the welcome back edition of this podcast. And yeah, that will be it. It was really fun talking to you after such a long time.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you too. Thank you very much for having me, and I'm so glad that you're back.
Yeah, for sure. And as for the next videos, my next video will of course be what if Ash and Alan were twins, which will be set in the old region. So just switching some things up. I'm sure no one wants to see them travel through Kanto region yet again, or the Kalos region for that matter. Like enough with Lysander. Let's Lysander and Gion. Enough with those two. Let's do something new. And your next videos will be
My next one is going to be What If Red Trained Ash, which will be another long part. I'm excited for this one. I'm about halfway through writing the script at the moment, and it's got
okay.
some, well, let's just say, if I can be really disciplined with my storytelling, there might be a very big story beat coming up in this part. But at the very least, we'll definitely be moving out of the world tour arc and into the tournament arc that follows. That's a
Okay.
promise. As for the second channel, I truly don't know, and that's
Okay.
terrifying. But
Uh,
after that, I have a big project coming, which I'll just say stay tuned, because you're not gonna want to miss it.
okay. We'll stay tuned for that. So with that, let's wrap this up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and expect more of this in the near future.
Okay, thank you. Bye.